Hey, this is Jennifer here. Welcome to Crafting in Carrollville. I have started disassembling this clock that I picked up at the Goodwill bins. When I turn it around, you'll see it's just a pretty plain face, but we're going to turn it into something fabulous here. Two videos in 1 week? What? Like, how am I even doing it? Haha. We are finally 2 years, almost 2 years after Hurricane Ian. We can honestly say that our house is better than before. And now we've kind of gone back to regularly scheduled program and we're kind of back to where we were before the storm. So we can get back to the things we were doing in our house when the storm hit. Anyway, so I'm just working on the face of this clock right now. You can see I'm painting it. I think it's a Dixie Belle paint and I think it's called Lazy Linen. If it's not a Dixie Belle paint, it's Country Chic paint. Anyway, so I'm just painting out the face of this clock. You can probably guess that I'm gonna do water slide paper. And I promise I'm not gonna do water slide paper in every video, but probably the more that you watch it, the better you'll like it, is how I feel. And the more you watch it, the more you might be inspired to try it yourself. Um, I'm painting the hands of the clock. I really don't need to, but I'm going to come back in later and you'll see I'm going to do rub and buff on them. And I think the paint is going to make the rub and buff kind of stick a little better than the smooth metal would. So I didn't mind painting those hands for that reason. Anyway, I hope y'all liked my last video. I finally did a thrift haul. I'm going to have some more of those coming up too. But I'm not going to do them in my workshop anymore. The light is just so bad in there that um, I'm sure it's just not easy to look at. So I think I'll move everything to my living room like I was doing and do them there in the future. Anyway, so I'm just giving that a good coat of chalk paint. It doesn't matter what the finished outcome is here because I'm just covering up that face so that I have a clear background to apply my water slide paper to. Um, and now here I am painting the actual frame of the clock. It's metal and I love the patina that it had on it. Like, if it were at all possible, I would have just left it this way, but I'm trying to go very neutral in my porch area. We have a screened front porch that we call them lanais in Florida. So we have a lanai on the front of our house, which is sort of unusual. Most people have their lanai on the back of their house. Ours is actually the front of our house, so that you have to walk through our lanai to get to our front door. So it's sort of important that it be very welcoming and a friendly place, a friendly space anyway. So um, here I am. I'm painting this. It's called, it's a Dixie Belle paint. I forget what it's called. It's some sort of uh, coastal color. Anyway, I'll look later if I think of it and tell you. But you can see it's kind of a coastal blue. And for some reason, I'm really like drawn to this particular blue, which is surprising because I don't love blue. It's like not a color that I naturally gravitate towards. But I think what I love about this blue is that it contrasts so well with gold and like a mustardy yellow. And I really like those accents for my porch space that I'm putting together. Anyway, so I've painted it this blue color. Now I'm just kind of wet distressing it because I still want that patina to show through as much as I can get it to show through. I actually try a few different techniques on this piece here. You can see I'm going to come in with some gold rub and buff and some Spanish copper rub and buff, and I'm going to just hit the points that I want to. In the meantime, though, I'm going to take that Spanish copper rub and buff and do those hands on the clock. I just put that paper under there so I don't get the rub and buff on the face of my clock. Um, I have been like so fixated on this one color of rub and buff, the Spanish copper. If you haven't tried that, it's so rich and just so beautiful. I've been, I told you in my last video, I've been like looking for reasons to use this color. I love it so much. Anyway, this piece is going on my porch. I think I've told you that. So I don't mind spending some time on it and really making it what I want it to be. Um, this isn't probably a project that I would do to sell because it's very big and bulky, and I'm not sure that I want to cart it back and forth to shows. So I probably wouldn't have bought this particular thing to upcycle if I knew I wasn't going to use it myself. I always use a brush that, like a designated brush for rub and buff because they get so oily and they don't wash well when you use a brush to apply rub and buff. So that red brush is the one I use all the time when I'm going to use rub and buff. Anyway, and look, see, there I go again, putting the lid on stuff. I'm getting real good at that. I, I'm I'm being more consistent with cleaning up my workspace and making sure that I have a really nice area to work in. Anyway, so now I'm applying some gold rub and buff to this frame. And you're going to see in the end, I cover all that up anyway, but I want that to kind of show through um, like a patina in my final stage of this process. I went into this not knowing exactly how I was going to accomplish the look that I got, but it turned out to be exactly what I wanted. And now I want to replicate this on another piece of wrought iron that I have for my porch. Um, Try to get that done tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to film it because you've already seen this, so it's not anything special. It's just a piece of wrought iron that I'm going to put on my porch. I can't wait to show you all. Um, I'll do a reveal of my entire front porch area later on as we get more projects done. I have a vintage ironing board that I'm fixing to upcycle for my porch. I have a ton of bins finds that I want to show y'all. I think I said last time I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can with things from the bins. You know, mostly just to keep it affordable and also just to show that, you know, you can put an entire room together on an extremely tight budget. If you just have some patience and wait for the items to show up. I have to say, there are very few times when I go to the bins looking for something specific that I don't find that specific item. So now, oh, this is Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in white. And I am rubbing this on and then, of course, rubbing it back. And I'm just trying to get it in those recessed areas there. I don't really want it to be necessarily on the top, even though I find out that I really like the way that looks. So I wipe it back and then I add more and I just keep doing that until I'm happy with the results. But it really creates this beautiful patinaed finish. It's like um, I forget what they call it. It's kind of a cloudy finish, but it's not like that obnoxious, like muddy finish where, you know, you've mixed your paint and it's all kind of run together. It's not like that. Actually, it's beautiful. It looks really, really pretty, and it accomplished exactly what I wanted for this clock frame. I didn't want it to be dark. I wanted it to still be light, and it matched all the other things that I've done out there um, on my porch. And my accent color is that original blue that I painted it, like all my throws and my pillows and those kind of things. Any pop of color I have is basically that blue color. So, which is so funny because I told y'all my entire house was blue when we moved in, like everything. The front door, the fireplace wall, the shed, the picnic table, like everything was that like French, not even French blue, what is it? Country blue, like 80s country blue. But this is a little more chic than that. It's a richer blue than that. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just rubbing that white wax on my piece until it's in all the areas that I want it to be in, and I'm wiping it back as I go. I'm also trying really hard to keep it off the glass. Of course, I can always clean it off the glass. You can see, if you can see, there's sort of a gasket there, like a rubber fitting that's holding that glass in, and it's kind of come loose. So I'm trying to not knock that all out because I don't want to have to put the glass back in. So I do keep the glass in while I paint this and just try to be careful and keep it clean as I go. That's what I'm doing there. You're going to see I'm going to hang this clock by an arm on the wall. Okay, now here I am with my water slide. Now, actually, this isn't my water slide paper yet. These are some mock-up prints that I did with I just use my inkjet printer and I print these images out just to fit them into the clock to see exactly where I'm going to put my stuff. I end up just working around those hands of the clock. I don't try to take them out. So you'll see as I go, and it does present like a bit of a challenge. So if you're not, if, if you want to do a clock face, I would suggest, if you're not super experienced with water slide paper, I would suggest taking the hands off the clock and then putting them back on when you're done. But anyway, now I'm ready to start with my water slide paper. I'm done. Doing the mock-up. I can see how I want it to look. And water slide paper is just exactly that. It's paper that slides off when you add water to it. So you can buy it on Amazon. I like the Koala brand. I originally was buying the Hippo brand, but they stopped selling that on Amazon. I haven't been able to find it, so I tried this one instead, and I think I actually prefer this brand. When you have to pull it like that, it means it's a little tight, and I could have soaked it a little bit longer, but I'm actually okay with having to pull it like that because if it were too loose, I wouldn't have the time to work it into those areas like you see that I'm doing. So what I'm doing here is I'm just lifting it and then placing it where I want it to be on the clock face there. I had an idea pretty much exactly how I wanted it when I did my mock-up, and so now I know that that's where I want those images to be. And I'm just using my scissors there to cut a little slit so they can fit around those hands. You can see that's what I'm doing. Like I said, this is sort of an advanced example of what you can do with water slide. But if you want to try it, try a small project, try something little, and then hone your skills, get better at it. And there's nothing that you can't do with water slide paper, though. I think that's what I love about it the most. I'm not limited to what other people have made. I'm not limited to whatever's been made into a transfer. I can basically make my own transfer. I got those little tools that you see in my hand there. They look like Cricut tools, but they're not. I got them at Harbor Freight, and they come in a 3 or 4 pack, and they're up by the register like they're one of those little, things they trick you into buying when you think you're all spent out. But I think they may have been like even like $2. They were super cheap, and I use them quite a bit. So anyway, you can see I'm just lifting the edge there to make sure that I'm getting everything where it needs to be before I lay down my next piece. And there it is. I've soaked it in the water. You soak it in the water for 30 to 60 seconds before you apply it. And then before you apply your water slide paper, you spray it with acrylic Mod Podge. Um, or you could use any other spray acrylic sealer. I think Krylon makes one. Rust-Oleum probably makes one, but so far I've only used the Mod Podge one. I just feel like it works so well that I haven't needed to try another one. Anyway, but you want to spray it 3 times. So you spray it once, let it dry, which is probably about 15 minutes, and then spray it again, let it dry, and then spray it again and let it dry. So don't try to use it um, until it's completely dry. Okay, so now I'm putting it in the water. And you can see I'm just going to keep on working around those hands. I'm going to keep on putting those images just like I had them in my mock-up as closely as I can get them. That's another thing I really love about waterslide paper is you can do, a little test run before you actually have to use any of your more expensive materials. Um, Waterslide paper is not super expensive. I think it's about $12 for 20 sheets. And I just make sure that every time I do a project, I fill up the entire paper with images so that, I have some images for the next time I'm going to use it, or, I just have extra images on hand. I think for this project, I used 3 sheets of waterslide paper. Um, Obviously, the 2 big sheets I'm using right now, I printed, um, I used basically the whole 8.5 by 11 to print these images. And then I think I used one more sheet and I just printed partial images. Like I cropped the flowers out or whatever it was. I just used a cropped version of the images. These images come from Creative Fabrica. I know you almost get tired of hearing me say Creative Fabrica, but seriously, they have just the best images. I knew that I wanted, blue birds and blue flowers, and then all those complementary colors. And so I think I just typed in bluebirds in my search, and this is what came up. I'll leave the link for these images below and in the description box. What was I going to say? Um, oh, it'll come to me. Anyway, I'm having a little bit of an issue here. Like, where do I overlap this? Like, do I put this one under and that one over? So obviously, I decided that that one should go um, over. So I trimmed the one that I had already laid down there. And don't worry about any of those wrinkles, bubbles, whatever it is. Those are all coming out. You're going to see at the end of this that, as usual with waterslide paper, you can manipulate this so it looks like it is just painted on there. That's something I really love. That's another thing. Once you practice this technique enough, you can make it look like you hand painted those images on there. So when you download these images from Creative Fabrica, they come with a commercial license. So you can sell these images, you can manipulate them, you can do whatever it is you need to do with them. You can take them over to any other platform and Zazzle, for instance, and make decoupage paper. Whatever you want to do. They actually, I think, are one of the only um, digital download platforms that have so many options. So here I've applied the rest of my images, and like I said, I really just took pieces of other parts of the images and printed them out and then put them on my picture there. What I'm doing now is I'm just using that X-Acto knife to trim out the edges where I overlapped some of that some of that picture. I'm taking that off with my X-Acto knife. Oh, what I wanted to say before is these are actually junk journal pages is what they're called on Creative Fabrica. And in order to give them a softer edge and make them not look like book pages, I just applied a soft edge to them. And you can do that in Word or Photoshop, whatever program. Probably Canva has that option too. I haven't played too much with Canva, but I really do need to take the time to do that. So now, as I've shown you before, I'm coming back in with my original background color, and I'm just sort of blending all those edges so that everything looks feathered in, and it makes it look like an actual painting because I'm actually applying paint to the picture. So that's a great hack as well, and it kind of brightens things up too. It brings that color back from the background. So I really love that option, but you can see there that everything's laying down really nicely. Everything's got a good finish. And then my final step there will be to give it a good coat of clear wax. And when I do that, that is going to make that everything is going to have the same consistent finish. So I really love that. I talk about that all the time. Every time I do some water slide, I tell you that the clear wax just takes away any of that shine from the film that the image is actually printed on. Anyway, so you can see I'm just touching up the background with my original paint color. I really love that. It's so pretty. It looks so pretty on my porch. It's just you want to surround yourself with pretty things in your home, and since we are, you know, coming into our newly renovated space, it's just such a great feeling to walk into our house and realize that it's not falling down around us. Seems like such a big deal. And we have a hurricane coming this weekend. Actually, it's not a hurricane. I shouldn't say that. It's a tropical storm. But it's supposed to bring a lot of rain, so which shouldn't be an issue for us because we don't live in a flood zone. But and actually, I'm kind of looking forward to the rain because it kind of gives you an excuse to stay home and stay cozy. First of all, and second of all, my plants, my flowers, could really stand some rain. So I can't wait to show y'all my courtyard area that I've been working on. I call it Dixie's playpen because she goes out there and plays, but because she goes out there and plays, I can't have flowers in the ground. So I have a ladder, a plant ladder that they're on, and then I have an ironing board. Anyway, so here I am. I am putting my clock back together. I put my face back in the clock, and then I'm just using the same screws that I took out to screw it back in and make it secure. I've gotten smart about these kind of things. See, I put my screws in that little plate there so I didn't lose them. I don't know, y'all. It could happen. I could get organized. I'm doing it. Like seriously. I love the way this project turned out. Like I said, I really just can't wait to show you the finished porch when I get there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Anyway, this video is about over. I just wanted to remind y'all to please, please, please like, share, subscribe, watch my videos, do something to help me out. We're getting close to being able to monetize here on YouTube. Ooh, I bet YouTube didn't like that at all. I'll have to write an apology letter. Anyway, I'll see y'all next video. I don't know what I'm making next video, but I do know that I have to have a goal of trying to get 2 videos out a week so I can make up for the fact that I'm losing watch hours. So anyway, all right. It's been nice. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.